Hello, GMO-free Idahoans. I hope everyone's doing well and that you had a safe and fun New Year's. So today, Jenny and I went out to Purple Sage Farms in Middleton and talked with Michael Sommers, who helps his family run their farm. They're one of the first certified organic farms in Idaho, and they grow herbs and greens, and they also raise grass-fed, free-range goats and sheep. And we got to see all of it. It was really amazing seeing their greenhouses and how they operate, and seeing their adorable little goats and sheep. Lambs, I guess, not sheeps. They were so cute. But we talked with Michael in particular about his kombucha tea, which is a fermented living tea that he makes out of their fresh herbs. And he started Purple Sage Brewing Company this fall, and he's been selling his tea around the Treasure Valley at the Boise Co-op and at the local farmers markets. And our website is not up yet, but it's a matter of days, and we've decided each month to promote a local business and a local product. And so for the month of January, we've decided to promote Michael's organic kombucha tea. And so here's an inside look. Jenny and I recorded everything, and so you guys can see their operation, how they work, and Michael does talk about the fermentation process and the benefits of drinking something like his organic kombucha. So with that being said, I do want to give a big thanks to Michael and his family. They've been a great support for GMO-free Idaho since we've been started. In October, they attended our World Food Day rally and provided samples of their herbs and their kombucha tea for everyone that came out and showed their support. And so once again, Michael and your family, thank you very much for everything you've done, and we're really glad that we have built this relationship with you and can share with our viewers everything that you do over there and how great it is that you're growing these sustainable, organic, clean, nutritious foods for the Treasure Valley.
Well, they're all covered now. Can't really see it. There's kale seedlings in all of these.
Do you sell the lettuce and kale and stuff direct at
Yeah, we do. You can see it here. So there's drip tape in, and then there's black plastic to hold in the heat, and then plants go in, and then this blanket over the top kind of saves them all.
Wow.
So most of these plants are very hardy even without the blanket, but the blanket really it helps them out, just avoid stress. I'll show you some of these tea herbs we have in here for now. A lot of this is some kale here, but all these kales and a lot of greens are going to be moving out to the new houses this summer. We'll have a lot more room for tea herbs, like echinacea, I want to grow, some chamomile, different herbs like that. This is what happens to lemongrass when it gets cold. But we had a bunch of beds like this that we harvested, and you just take a hedge trimmer and just trim it all down. Just in big armfuls of lemongrass, and you got to wear gloves and long sleeve shirts because it'll cut you.
So you said you processed a ton of fresh herbs.
Yeah, we cut a ton of fresh herbs by hand this year.
And so how many people does that take to do it?
You can see this pile here. This is compost we made. It just looks like a pile of dirt. We could go take a closer look, but this is the compost that comes from having sheep and goats and feeding them hay all winter. And then we compost their manure and the winter feeding ground. You can see it still has hay in it and everything, and it's certified organic compost, which is pretty expensive stuff to get. But since we can make it, you know, it all comes from our ground. We save a lot of money and time, and also we get a really, like, sheep manure and goat manure is very different from cow manure and horse manure. It just has different nutrients, and we get a really high humic acid content in this compost, and that just allows for that humic acid is a base nutrient for plants to use and to get other minerals and things out of the ground. Making the tea involves growing the plants, and growing the plants involves having livestock to make compost.
Right.
So really by feeding the sheep every morning, I'm making kombucha.
Right.
This is how it all works.
And that's what you want to see?
Yeah, that's how you know it's still alive and it's still trying to do something. It's still, I test for sugar and pH, and you can tell by the change in pH and sugars that there's still fermenting going on. There's still biological activity. I haven't done all the tests that GT has done on like how many organisms there are or what they are. It's still kind of a mystery to me, and it would really help me if I knew. I'm just trying to sell enough kombucha so I can pay for those kind of tests, I guess. But yeah, it's interesting. I can do comparative tests and kind of glean some information off of that without like the scientific.
So say that again, because there's no bacteria growing, that's good.
Yeah, you can see that these are all definitely living cultures, and usually if you leave like grape juice out on grape juice or any tea, oh here it is, these just form mold in a day or two. You get mold in a couple of days, and you leave green tea out, this has been 6 days, there's no mold or anything, and some of them are forming scobies and some aren't. But anything else, if you leave it out, I've left these out, I've done tests where I leave them out for 2 or 3 weeks and they just form scobies, and the sugar level drops and the pH drops. But you can tell, like, because they're dropping, they're still alive, so there's obviously biological activity going on, but it's not the bad kind, it's a good kind. Well, just in general, yeah, the big thing is that it's local, and it's made with ingredients that we grow from our sheep, and it's done in small batches, and also mine is a lot more concentrated, and it's like the real product. Like a lot of these they seem to be, I don't know their exact brewing process, but to me it seems like they have less sugar in them, they have less flavor in them, and they add like flavor extracts and things. The kombucha I brew is like holy with a W, I guess. It's like the whole tea. It's not like put in different parts and mixed together. What I do is I make a big batch of herbal tea and then add the culture to it and let it ferment. And I don't do anything after to it. I don't add any flavor extracts to improve the flavor or mix it with fruit juices or anything. Mine all test and they all have less than 0.5% of alcohol. And that's just a sign that the bacteria population is healthy, and it's growing and using up all the alcohol that's produced to make acids. And mine really has a thicker texture to it. It's more viscous, and it has a lot more flavor, in my opinion, and lasts a lot longer. So yeah, but it's interesting to see them, to compare them all. I kind of get some good information off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the real test is if you can drink one of these when there's a SCOBY on top. It takes some guts.
Can you? That one?
I wouldn't drink that one.
No?
I would drink one of these.
I'm all waiting for it.
Drink it on camera.
I'm just kidding. You don't have to.
Out of the total number of cells in your body, there's more cells with other DNA compared to cells that have your own DNA. So really, like, out of the total population, if you were to, take a vote or whatever, there'd be more foreign organisms in your body than there are of your own.
Of human DNA.
So it's really important health-wise to feed that population. Like, you can't ignore it, because then you run into these questions. Well, am I then the bacteria that are living inside of me, or am I my own cells? Obviously you're your own cells, but you just kind of you need to acknowledge that population and kind of take care of it, and pay attention to how the human culture and the past human societies have taken care of that culture of organisms. Not that they consciously knew about it all the time. They just naturally did things with their food that encouraged those types of organisms, like eating lots of vegetables and roughage, and eating beans, and eating living food and raw milk.
Raw milk, yeah.
Things like that those all really help the organisms in your body to grow. And so by eating diverse food and eating living food, you can really improve your digestion, and digestion is one of the key ways that your body makes itself healthy, because that's how your body makes itself, literally. Right now I'm producing, making Stinging Nettle kombucha, Basil kombucha, mint, and lemongrass are the 4 main ones. And then I have some side projects that are bronze fennel, and rose and holy basil. And then I do a traditional green tea batch. It's just the straight kombucha, and it doesn't use herbs from our farm, but we're working on growing green tea. So maybe in a couple of years, but that takes a lot of effort. But yeah, so those are the main ones right now, and I sell to the co-op right now. And there's a number of natural stores coming into town that have contacted me and wanting to get my stuff in their store. And it's Rosars in Meridian is moving in. The Vitamin Cottage, I think it's coming in over on Overland or Orchard, somewhere over in that area, and the Whole Foods also. So I'm looking into getting into a lot of stores here coming up this year. And then Idaho's Bounty also is the online food co-op. IdahosBounty.org is a really good organization of all these different Idaho producers who have stuff for people in Idaho to buy. So yeah, and then at farmers markets, I'll be at farmers markets when the season starts back up. This is my new label I've been working on. It's just kind of taped on here right now, but we just kind of did it on a computer yesterday. So we're trying. It's Stinging Nettle on the front.
What would you
What do you think?
What would you say is your most popular?
The nettle is very popular, and the lemongrass. And those are the two I have now. I have like 15 kegs of kombucha that I'm going to be bottling next week. And yeah, the Stinging Nettle, just because it's so unique, you know. And then the lemongrass, its flavor is easy to relate to, and it's a really good flavor too. And my personal favorite is the basil, but Stinging Nettle just stands out, and its flavor is really it can appeal to the masses just because it's not really sweet or it's not really florally. It's just kind of its own flavor that nobody really knows about. So the interest in something new is what I think brings people to the Stinging Nettle and to my kombucha in general. I feel like it's just not the way it should be. It's like it's an artificial way of producing stuff, and artificial things don't last forever. And yeah, it scares me to think that these dairies are pumping antibiotics into their cows every single day, and then they put all their manure into a settling pond where all of it drains into our water table, and then I have a tapped well water here, and how many antibiotics am I drinking every day? It's just scary, and you feel powerless sometimes just because of how big these operations are and how much money they have. And so you just got to kind of turn your head away and just kind of do your own thing, and just kind of, I don't mean to like separate myself from the world, but you kind of have to in order to stay focused. Otherwise you'll just get caught up in being scared and angry all the time. And you just kind of have to find your alternatives and find the people who think like you and live their lives like you, and make a community out of it. When you realize the people who are involved in it, that's what really holds it together and will make it survive and last. My parents have been able to do it for 20 years, and why not another 100, you know? If it can last that long, it will. So.